Alright, so I figured I'd make a quick tutorial real fast for the game while the kids are eating. But anyways, of course, you know how long I'm making your character. So I've made a world fresh character, fresh world. Nothing has been done yet. If you start server, start community server, and then do a password, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I don't know, 0. So 1 through 0, easy password. You can make whatever you want. But this way other people can join your game. If you don't click these, you'll just be playing solo. If you don't have like access to internet or something at the time, just play solo, because this will essentially require you to have internet. But anyways, yeah, so that's how to start a server. Whoever you want to join a server, just make sure you give them a password for it. But you just start. So you start your own world. If you don't already have a world picked out, that's fine. You can just randomly generate one with a number, or you can type in some type of word and see what pops up. So, loading into Valheim. Tried to explain things yesterday a little bit, but it was hard to do. Not like sharing my screen. I figured I do this pretty easily. So the first time you create a world and log in, it can take a little while to load. Well, it generates all the assets and all that nonsense. So, taking more time than I thought it would. But oh well. You might hear Logan in the background. Burping. There we go. Excuse you. Again, I would recommend just, if you're not going to plan on much, start your own world, that way you can kind of get an idea for what the introduction's like. Get like a hold on the mechanics. I like typing random words instead of letting it generate based off numbers and letters. That way, if I like it, it'll be easy to reload the same world. Yeah, this is the beginning of the game, bud. Hugie flies you in. I think it's Hugie. Tell. It actually changes a little bit since the last time I watched it. They have some more detail on here. They used to have. Alright, so the map won't load yet. Yeah, let me do what I'm doing, bud. So, apparently, this world starts near the ocean. Pretty cool. Alright, we've spawned in. So, you want to talk to Hugie, he'll kind of essentially tell you what to do. Doesn't say much this first time. If you notice this little glowing stone, it marks on your map where the first boss is. You hit M to pull up the map. While I'm here, if you notice, where is it at? I think my little recording icon's in the way, but this is marked as meadows in the top right hand corner of the map. This marked as dark forest. So there's an ocean between there, right? So most of the land masses in Valheim are just islands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back towards this coast and kind of walk around and see what I see. Figure I can find a nice place along the coast to build a little settlement. And the first boss is right there. So I'm sure he'll tell you about the boss when you talk to him. When you start, though, you need wood and you need rock. So find some wood, find some rock. It'll give you a list of stuff to make. Hit tab. Your basic crafting, you can make a club, hammer, axe. First thing you're going to want is a club. Then probably the hammer, then the axe, but in sequence. Club is just because enemies are annoying. You also want to keep an eye out for bushes. Sometimes in these spawn areas, there it is, they'll have some of these bushes really close by. These raspberries are the first food item you get. Gives you some extra stamina, some extra health. Talks about crafting items with wood and stone. Stone's kind of hard to come by to begin with, because you have to pick up little tiny rocks, hard to see. Alright, so another random foodstuffs. No, you see bigger rocks there, kid. These are all too big. Now, before I go too far, takes forever to do this. Actually, it doesn't. Yeah, it spawns you with a torch. Slightly more damage. There we go. Alright. Torch sets the enemies on fire. I don't use torches much. Move that to the side. You're standing on my toes. What are you doing? You are 4.
I don't know how old I am.
We need to find food items. Hey, don't mess with that, Logan.
I don't know how old I am.
Go eat your lunch. You're supposed to be eating right now. Oh, here we go. So you get these red mushrooms right here. So if I bring up map and I zoom in, use this little icon, double click with the left click, red mushrooms are, they will respawn after a time. So if you keep stuff like this marked on your map, you could always come back and find more. Sometimes I'll even mark like the amount, like this was what, 5, so look like that, 5 red mushrooms. So as it respawns, what, like once every couple days or so, you can come get it. Dandelions are useful a little bit later in the game. They're not food, but you can use them to craft other food items. What I'm trying to see as I walk towards the shoreline is rocks. You know, a fun little trick, actually, if you go to settings and you turn your graphics, I like vegetation quality, I think it looks cool. But if you turn your vegetation quality all the way down, makes seeing the stuff on the ground so much easier. It's a little bit of a life hack when you first start. So there's 4 more red mushrooms right here. And it makes it like these little rocks are really hard to spot. But if you have the vegetation quality to turn down, it's just a little bit easier. So I do have 2 food items now. You can find some more red berries, but let's see, I have enough rock to make the axe. So get us an axe. Now I can actually chop down real trees. I just like that on the 5th key. But later in the game, that's where I have it, so that's where I'm used to clicking. Makes those easier to chop down. You can't chop these down yet, you need a bronze weapon before then. But now you can chop down actual trees. Not gonna, well, might as well. If you're in a forest and you get lucky, when the tree goes to fall, it'll damage things it hits. Now these tree seeds that you pick up, they're not incredibly useful this early in the game. If you time your block just right, you'll stagger the enemy. See if this guy, like, block right before they hit you. You'll do extra damage because they're stunned. I'm just trying to get some of this wood real quick before I keep exploring. So within the first day, you kind of want to find a spot to build a house. Well, really though, if you look around enough, you can probably find one that's pre-made, like a little prefab building somewhere. point of getting to the coast. So it's been 10 minutes. I don't want this to be too long. I'm trying to keep this under 20. So I've got some more rock, got some more daisies. Again, daisies aren't going to be too important until a little bit later in the game. But what we need is a third food item. The best third food item to get early in the game is honey. But to get that, you need to find some beehives, which is exploration based. Flint you'll need for a bunch of upgrades early on. You only find it near water. So again, kind of nice to keep an eye out on water stuff. Oh, there we go. If you get wet though, it gives you a debuff to stamina regeneration. So I got, boars will be the thing that kill you in the beginning of the game. They hit pretty hard, and they're pretty vicious. But they do give you raw meat and leather scraps, which you do need for a lot of early upgrades. Leather for your rag armor, leather scraps at least for your armor, and shields. So I'm just gonna run along here. I don't see too many more red berry bushes, so not that lucky, I guess. So these guys are kind of nice. You could cook their tails, kind of like meat, but their tails are useful in poison resist potions later on. So best to kind of save them. Oh, I see a berry bush here. Is it just the one? No, there's a few. So
Are you going to go the way up the other island? Yeah.
I do not yet have a boat, kid. So the beginning of the game is called the Stone Age, kind of colloquially, because you're using just wood and rock as your primary stuff here. There is no basement, because there's no base yet. Sweet. This would be a decent spot for a little base. These sometimes give you useful information. I'm not too worried about these right now.
Are you going to build a base?
I will build something in a little bit, kid. I'm just trying to do it. Oh, there we go. Stunned him. Timing the block is easier once you get a shield.
Berries, berries.
And
More berries.
there's a lot of berries.
Berries, 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 berries.
Like 7 or 8 maybe. I did not pay attention. Call it 8. So we got some berries here we can come back and pick. So there's a house. Inside the houses you can find some items sometimes. Now I'm going to go ahead because I just prefer it this way. I'm going to turn the settings, turn my vegetation quality back up. It does make it harder to see some of the stuff, but I think it looks prettier. So this is a little prefab, tiny little building. There might be a chest, there might be a bee though, so if you have a beehive, that's what we want. And there's no beehive, there's no chest, we're not going to use that as our little house. Keep looking. A lot of times I'll find beehives, so when you see a big open space like this pop up, no, not like this, this is cool though, a little peninsula. If I was going to build something, I'd probably build it here. So all these rocks, I'm going to come get them. So whenever you see structures kind of like this sticking up out, like there's usually rocks down along the sides of them, flint down towards the water. So once you get a pickaxe, rock will be easy to come by. And you get a pickaxe after you get the first boss. Logan, can you please go eat your lunch? You're supposed to be eating lunch, bud. I've been doing this for 14 minutes, so I know you haven't finished eating it. And I can see your plate from here, and it has a ton of food on it still. Sadness. This is not a professional video, this is just something I'm doing to help out a little bit, or at least trying to. You want me to eat my food? Well, I don't have to eat my food. I'm an adult. I can do what I want. Alright, so we got another prefab. This is what I was talking about earlier. So in the meadows, there's a lot of times you'll find these very wide open spaces, and since like early game you're looking for pretty wide open areas to build, these are kind of nice. So there's a prefab back here, there's a prefab structure there, and one up there too. So this guy, let's look here, this guy has a chest. These are useful later on a little bit. My stuff's starting to get a little bit damaged, so I will eventually need to make a crafting bench. To repair your stuff, you'll need a crafting bench. Now, I'm going to use one of these prefabs. This is a little bit smaller, but, oop, see that right there? So this has a beehive in it. You don't want to get too close to the beehive because it will damage you. Now, if you have a bow, you can use a bow and arrow to shoot that down. We do not. So, make a hammer, because I got plenty of stone and wood. And then equip the hammer. When the hammer is equipped, you can use the right click, pull up this menu, and this is your crafting menu. Now, I like to leave the repair tool picked. If you click in on the wheel, oh, I'm sorry, actually I built a crafting station. Now, to use the crafting station, it has to have a roof. We're not going to use this crafting station. I'm just going to deconstruct this building by clicking in on the mouse wheel, because the beehive, I can't get too close to it without getting attacked by the bees. But without support, everything will fall apart and it'll break. And look at that. Now I have a bee. Okay. Now, of course, Hugen's going to want to talk to you and tell you that you can craft stuff if you have a roof. But before I get into that, I'm going to go over here. Another prefab. And there's another one up there on the hill, too. Oh, look at that. Yahtzee. So there's another little beehive. So, this one has just 4 little struts here. I wonder if the whole thing will just fall apart. Yeah, the colors change. So I'll just give it enough time, the whole thing will fall apart right here. I don't have to do nothing. Now, a quick way to make a building thing. So if you put a crafting station down, and you need to repair your stuff real fast, you just drop 2 pieces of flooring. And this isn't exactly an even surface, but that's fine. You can snap in some walls here. And you got, I think you have to use the tall ones, I forget exactly here. But use this tall corner piece. That's not right. One of these is wrong. I think this one. So this game uses a snapping system when building, so you got to get everything just right. Now, if you didn't have enough wood, you'd want to break your crafting station back down and then rebuild it inside of the structure. Now it has a roof over it, and you can use it to repair all of your stuff. Congratulations. You can also craft everything. So like the wooden shield is something that I want. You can also upgrade everything. So wooden shield, you can change the style of it. Then we're going to go ahead and craft it. Survivability thing for me. Now that used up my, I forget what it needed. Yeah, the leather scraps. And some wood. I don't have a lot of wood either. But I haven't been gathering stuff. I'm going to go ahead, this is taking too long. So I've got some beehives destroyed. Got some queen bees. Yeah, I can make a little base off this. I'm going to check this structure real quick up here as well. I mean, usually it's really rare to find 2 bees so close together. That was pretty neat. Nah, not a 3rd one in there. Hugen's going to tell me about workbenches. Okay, so that's basically all you need from the beginning. Since this area is flat, what I'm going to do is kind of show you real quick a basic structure build that I like. I like the kind of Viking longhouse vibe. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 across gives you enough space to kind of move around inside the structure. And I always try to do like 2 or 3 longer. That's 5, 6, 7. Now, the way this works is you see like it's blue if it's directly supported by ground, and then green if not. And the less support you have, the weaker the structure will be. So I'm going to add a couple little support beams here for the corner. Either way, this is still 2 pieces removed from the ground in any direction. It just limits how much you can build on it. This is 3, this is 4, I don't have enough wood. So to build structures takes a lot of wood. So, oops. You can't destroy stuff if you don't have a crafting station. Lulz. Alright. So, I'm gonna go down here to this little tiny prefab. Like, I would spend some time cutting down trees and stuff and then build a proper house over there. Honestly though, you probably want your first house a little bit closer. With your weapons on your hotkey, you just hit the 1 and 2 button real fast and throw on your shield and primary weapon. You can also use the axes as weapons, but it's not necessary. So this house is actually probably in the perfect spot. You have access to the water, you can build a boat out here, you can build a little port. But yeah, so just for kicks and giggles, this house is definitely smaller than anything I would want to build. It's only 3 units wide. Oh shoot. I need to be repairing those, not destroying them. So, what I do like about the prefab, so if you go to repair and you just use the left click, you can repair stuff that you're building. I will build the rest of it, child. I promise. Now, when you destroy prefab stuff, it does not give you as much material back as it would require for you to build it. So I'm not going to destroy any of this yet. But it's almost nighttime, so I'm going to build rest a little bit. Alright, all those are repaired. Repair that, repair the door. Now they used 45 degrees, looks like. Now I do need a fire, so to be able to sleep you have to have a fire. So, I'm going to decide where I want the bed to be. I'd actually really like the bed to be here where this chest is. I'm going to get rid of the chest. Furniture, bed, you have to have a bed to sleep. The bed needs to be by fire to sleep. So, I'm going to break this and this. And then I'm going to build a little chimney right here real quick. A little spot for the fire to go. And you have to have a roof over the fire. Oh, out of wood. Yeah, that's not really going to be enough. Let's see. Enough for a fire. Now, as long as it doesn't rain, we'll be able to sleep. Generally speaking, I don't like this style because when you put this roof back, notice like you can't like access the fire. You'll need to access the fire to cook stuff. So this type of building is very much subpar. But if you just need something quick to sleep through the night, you can sleep there now. It says there's enemies nearby because these guys decided to come out to play. Fun fact, they run from fire. So they'll actually clear out of the area a little bit. See, now it's nighttime. At nighttime you get a cold debuff. So if you're not around the fire. And if it's raining, your fire will go out if it's not covered. So you sleep real quick. Alright. And that's it. That's the first day in Valheim. Lasted for 25 minutes. Slept through the night. A cheap way to cover your fire, just like it doesn't look good, but that would count as covered. You do want something that'll funnel the smoke away from your structure, because you can die of smoke inhalation. I'm out of wood, but if you put a wood piece down along the sides here, you can kind of clip this in, and it makes it look a little bit more proper. But I mean, this is just a trashy building to sleep in while we actually construct our nice house. One last thing, since there's a roof over this, let's repair everything again. Torches don't get repaired, they just get destroyed. One of the many reasons I don't like them. Let's see if I can't get this to happen right. Hit this tree. Hey buddy. No, no. No, no. Yeah, I fell the wrong way. The stone axe is utter trash. Makes dropping this tree down very, 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 very annoying. But it is part of the experience. See, notice I can't cut that white tree yet. I can't hit it hard enough to actually damage it, but it's almost destroyed. Fun thing is, you can run it into other objects. Anything it damages will also damage it, like one of the mechanics of the game. So if you have a nice hill somewhere, you can just set this and let it roll towards something it can run into. And if it gives some damage numbers, you can do that a bunch, and eventually it'll break. Like I could also build a structure to run it into if I wanted to. But anyways, one last thing to show you. The reason bees are so important is because they make honey. And honey is, like, for the longest time, probably the best item to use. And I like building little stands for my beehives. Get crafting, get a beehive out, put them on the stands. You gotta make sure you get it angled right. Makes it easy to access. If it says the bees are happy, then you're good. Over time, they just make honey. So, try to explore little bits. Eventually, replace this house. And you explore. The entire purpose of this first part of the game is just getting used to the mechanics, exploring the meadows area, getting to the first boss, upgrading your armor along the way, right? To get good leather armor, you'll have to make a bow. I think I should be able to craft, so a crude bow. So at this point in time, these are all the crafting things I've unlocked. If I kill some pigs, get some wood, I can make a crude bow. If you have a bow, you can hunt your deer. It'll take 2 shots to kill them. I think you also need to make arrows to use the bow. I would definitely recommend getting a shield. The tower shields are better, but they can't parry. The other shields do, so if it has like a parry bonus there, if you notice there is no parry bonus, because you can't parry with it. As far as weapons go, the club is really good for the longest time. And once you can do swords, I think swords are better. But that's an opinion. Flint axe is better than the stone axe, so we could actually upgrade our axe just with a little bit more wood. Notice your damage, so slash damage 15 versus 20. To upgrade stuff, everything we have to upgrade, we need a level 2 workbench. To level up your workbench, you are looking at get the hammer out and go to crafting. And if it has a star right here, that's an upgrade. So the chopping block is the first upgrade to your workbench. You just have to put it somewhere close enough to the workbench to activate. You get too far away, you can't place it. And this requires us to use some wood and flint now. I don't feel like doing this anymore. So I'm going to enter dev mode, change my building requirements to nothing. Notice there's a lot of stuff you can build. Like, it does get a little bit overwhelming. But I just want to show you what this looks like. And I'm going to get off of here. So if you look at the workbench now, I can upgrade these things because it's level 2. Now I don't have any of the needed stuff where I can upgrade this. I have 2 stone. So you upgrade it. And it's going to move it in your inventory, so if you have a spot you want to put it, you got to move it back there. If you upgrade something like this rag tunic, again, I turned off requirements, it unequips it, and you don't have to re-equip it. So, kind of keep that in mind too. But yeah, so if I turn that off, it doesn't ruin anything for you. But anyways, that's the general idea. And you did see how I got into dev mode. In your own private servers you can do that, but if you're on an online dedicated server, that won't work. So kind of keep that in mind. The one thing I haven't showed you, there's not really enough space to do this here properly. So let's do this, let's do this, let's go to here. I don't have enough materials to build this stuff legitimately. So to build this little cooking rack, it has to be over a fire. And then you can cook items on it. So like right now, I got some meat. So you just click E and you cook the meat. You can put multiples of these down over one fire. So there's all that boar meat I had. And once it cooks, you pull it off. If you let it sit too long, it will get burnt and unusable, turn to coal. Which is actually a useful item. So there's just better ways to get coal. And if you click too much on there, you just automatically put other stuff down. And that's it. That's a quick crash course. You get cooking, you get building, you get some ideas behind the crafting system. You can catch yourself on fire if you're not careful. But that's the basics. Just gotta